Welcome back to the Man2Man podcast, episode 3. I'm your host, Jackson Chapman, alongside my brother,
Carson Chapman.
And today, we're gonna get started not with Turdy Time. We're gonna save Turdy Time for later. But first, we're gonna talk about how disappointing of a weekend that we had as Cardinal fans. I can't even put into words how upset I was after watching them lose in Game 2 of the Wild Card Series to the Phillies.
Yeah, so we are all watching the game on Friday, feeling good after Yepez comes in and pitch in home run in the 7th. We see the stat that ESPN puts up entering the 9th inning in the postseason when the Cardinals are up by 2 or more runs. They're 93-0, and yet we pick Friday of all days to ruin that 93-game streak, and Ryan Helsley, the best closer probably in the National League this year. All-star, consistent, throwing 103 up there, and he gives up, 6 runs, inning implodes, and so we're thinking maybe a bounce back on Saturday, feeling like we're going to take the drama out of it. Never crossed my mind that we could be watching Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina's last game.
But we did.
And we did. And just never really had energy in the ballpark.
Nope.
We had a large Newbar double to start off the bottom of the first, and that was it. You had a couple of different scenarios where you had the middle of your lineup coming up with multiple guys on in the 6th and the 8th inning. Jackson, do you want to share your thoughts on Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt right now?
When your 2 MVP candidates go 1 of 15 with 8 strikeouts in a 2-game series, you're not going to win very many ball games.
0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts in their at-bats in the 6th and 8th inning with tying runners on base.
Goldie just lost up there. Nolan had a couple of balls that were unfortunate. He had that line out, and then he also had...
He had a ball that you thought went 450 feet on Friday.
Yeah, game 1, I thought he hit a tank, but and then those last 2 strikeouts, I think they were both high fastballs that he swung at, but Goldie just looked absolutely lost. But it was the only positive to this is we got to see Yadi and Albert in their last
with hits.
Yeah, in their last at bats, both got hits. But it's just so disappointing. A team who won the Central, and we get our hopes up every year. The Cardinals won the Central. They're legit. They got a good pitching staff, decent pitching staff. You got the bats this year, and in the 2 postseason games that me and Carson have went to,
18 innings.
0 runs.
0
runs.
So, Dad has an executive order out. A couple years ago, he put a restaurant ban on my granddad. We are now on a postseason ban for the Chapman household. Unless
they get to the
it's a World Series game.
And if they get
That's
to
fair.
If they get to the World Series, then we'll know, okay, this is a game
They've proven
watching.
it.
Yes.
We're not falling for your tricks anymore, Cardinals. We fell for it in 2019. You put up 10 runs against the Braves in the first inning of Game 5. So we're excited for the NLCS. Let's make a big deal about it. No, Max Scherzer just gonna shove it, and then Aaron Nola did the same thing Saturday night.
So Cardinals, I know you're not listening to this podcast, but if you
probably
are,
not,
prove us wrong. We want to be at a World Series game next year because we love watching Cardinals baseball, even when they suck. And one other thing I like to talk about. Our fan experience.
Are we going to talk about this?
Our fan experience at this game was just horrendous. Carson, it's not out of the realm of possibility that we heard over 500 F-bombs on Saturday.
Yeah, so you've got, belligerent drunks right behind us, probably 10 friends that are, in their mid-20s. No respect for authority, no respect for those around them. It was so hard to concentrate on the game when they're having conversations that mean nothing and they're saying F you every 2 seconds.
It was
beer spilled all over my jacket.
It was just
unnecessary,
immature. One of the guys acted like a literal first grader.
Oh, he was throwing a fit.
He was pouting. Literally pouting. Oh, I'm not having fun.
He was asking why everybody was still here when the Cardinals were down 2-0 in the 9th.
Yeah,
I don't know, buddy. Why don't you leave?
Yeah,
you need a ride.
We paid good money to come watch the Cardinals, and for us to just 1, watch them suck it up, and then 2, just have our fans behind us just screaming an F-bomb.
Jackson, I'm going to say it. It's a bad weekend to be a Cardinals baseball fan, and let's just say the fan experience took a hit this weekend.
It was.
We saw the video of people leaving in the ninth
yes.
on Friday.
Yeah,
so the best fans in baseball title, it is in serious jeopardy right now for the Cardinals fans.
You know, for our dad to keep his calm as best as he did was a win. You know, Dad did say something one time to them, just telling them that he's not going to hear it all night. And then I said something.
And then he proceeded to listen to it the entire night.
But one of the Phillies relievers came in, and this guy behind me, I'm not joking you, said F you probably 10 times in a row, just screaming it at the top of his lungs.
He had no idea what planet he was on.
And I was like, I turned around, I was like, dude, you got to chill. Like, there's no business for this. And after that, you know, they still were going on, but it just...
There's always next year.
It's always next year.
Is this what the Cubs fans always feel like? Always looking forward to next year?
You know, I'll ask Melanie, my girlfriend, big Cubs fan. She hasn't felt the postseason in a couple of years, so I'll ask her. But we'll stop being sad Cardinals fans. We'll get to a little bit of fantasy football. So we just finished watching the Monday night game.
Yeah, tough weekend for Carr.
Good weekend for Jack. In our league that we're in together, I got another dub. Josh Allen, 42 points. 5-0 now in Dirty Dozens. With Darren Waller scoring 0 points.
Man was in a jumpsuit tonight.
Josh Allen is putting on this backpack for my team and just carrying the squad. And I know you had Clyde Edwards-Helaire going tonight, and he just didn't get it done for you.
Okay, so to set the stage, last week I pulled off 4 trades in the matter of 24 hours. I was a man on a mission. I was at 1-3 in this league that Jackson keeps talking about, where he's in first place. Josh Allen is carrying his team. So I thought I had a good roster, but I just needed to figure out how best to utilize them. So I pulled off trades to acquire Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, got Joe Mixon last night, got Clyde Edwards-Helaire going tonight, needed 11 points.
It's not
11 points.
That's not
I looked it up today. The lowest point total he had coming into tonight, 15. So I'm thinking it's a guaranteed win. He's projected 14. I know it's going to be a tight battle, but I'm thinking, you know, he doesn't even have to score to get 11 points. You know, he can do that through his yards on the ground, get maybe 5 receptions. This cat did not see the field tonight. I don't know if he had some kind of injury coming in. There was no designation on my part. I did everything right as a manager. He just didn't perform.
You know,
it's hard to get points when Jarrett McKinnon, your backup, is taking, you know, I'd say 65% of snaps.
Now, I will say, I guess that's their receiving back, and they threw the ball a lot because they were down in this game against the Raiders.
Well, he ran it better than Clyde, too.
And he did.
And, you know, if I can just complain a little bit.
Go ahead.
I had Joe Mixon go down at the half-yard line last night on the Sunday night game, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire get tackled on a reception that's at the half-yard line. He gets touched down right before he crosses the goal line. So if those 12 points come my way, I'm walking away a winner. I'm feeling good about myself. I'm at 2-3. Instead, I'm 1-4. I don't know what the stats are, Jack. Anybody ever make the playoffs coming from a 1-4 fantasy team when it's a 13-week season?
I think you've got the roster. It's just you got to pile on some wins. You can't, you know.
Do I have to run the table? Do I have to pull an Aaron Rodgers and I think we can run the table?
I think you've got max 1 or 2 losses left. After that, you got to basically win out. I think.
Stay tuned.
But right now I'm 5-0. I'm feeling good. I need some more production from Waller. I would trade Waller for a bag of chips right now. He's kind of trash. I don't know what else to do with him. I thought I was getting a stud in Darren Waller, but I'm just not right now.
Your running back situation with Antonio Brown ain't looking too good after Brian Robinson.
Oh, did you just name slip Antonio Brown instead of Antonio Gibson?
Antonio Gibson. That's on me. That's on me.
But one other league I want to talk about is my Cherie auction league.
He showed me his team. Whoever let this happen, just needs to go home because Jackson's got this thing. It's over. Vince Carter, it's over, ladies and gentlemen.
So it's an 8-team league, and you know these guys, they're very knowledgeable about football. The guys at the Cherie, if you're listening, I love you guys. But I have moved pieces here and there and here and there, and I've created the Avengers essentially. He's
got the last stone.
I got the Infinity Stones. Right now I'm rocking. Listen to this lineup. Jalen Hurts, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Chubb, Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, Travis Kelce.
Need he say more?
I put up 190 points this week, if you were wondering. Travis Kelce just finished with 4 touchdowns. I
Gotta be feeling good.
If I don't win this league, it will be the biggest choke job in all of fantasy. I mean, I love the other guys.
28-3. 28-3 choke job.
That would be just embarrassing.
Sorry, Cam, and all you Falcons fans.
I love these guys from the Cherie, but I'm just so confident in my team right now that I would be severely disappointed with coming in anything other than first place. So that's going on in fantasy between me and Carson. So now let's get into Turdy Time, my favorite segment.
It is time.
My favorite segment we do here on the Man2Man podcast, and this is a fun one. Not sports, not music. This week we're going with food. Specifically, we're going with fast food restaurants.
And Jack, if I can, who let us decide this? If you know anything about me and Jackson, you know that we are the pickiest eaters you have ever met. So the idea that we're supposed to give our food opinion here, I'm not sure how helpful this is for the audience, but I'm hoping we can entertain.
It's a little wrong, but I also pulled in some stats from
stat guy.
I looked up the fast food restaurants with the most revenue and the best customer reviews, and I kind of compiled that along with our opinions. You know, there is some opinion based in here, but we got 16 restaurants in here. So I'm going to run through real quickly the 16 seeds. So number 1 seed, ChickfilA.
Need we say more?
Yeah. 2 seeded McDonald's. 3 seeded Culvers, 4 seeded Wendys, 5 seeded Zaxby's, 6 seed Cookout, 7 seed Popeyes, 8 seed Steak and Shake, 9 seed Cane's, 10 seed Five Guys, 11 seed Sonic, 12 seed KFC, 13 seed is Subway, 14 is Taco John's, 15 is Arbys, and 16 is Hardees. So we're gonna go to
That's impressive. That was bracket right there. For those of you that are just listening to the podcast, Jackson just read that in 1 through 16 order, looking at the bracket. That was impressive.
That was. I felt like my eyes were going everywhere right there.
That was tough for the lazy eye guy.
Yeah, that is very tough. So you know what we do. We go through these matchups, we give our opinion, and we just keep on chugging along. So here we go. Number 1 seeded Chick-fil-A versus the 16 seed Hardees. Chick-fil-A. Oh, real quick before we start this, here's what we're going to base this off of. Here's our 3 criterias of how we're ranking this: the price of the food, the quality of the food, and the variety of the menu. Sound cool? Cool. So Chick-fil-A 1
I will not be using that method.
Chick-fil-A versus Hardees. Pretty easy, no-brainer here. Hardees has a phenomenal breakfast. Other than that, you're not getting much options after that.
So Chick-fil-A, let's get first things first. Chick-fil-A is the greatest chicken sandwich you'll ever have. I know in the last couple years we've seen people come out with their versions of a
the
Chick-fil-A.
So-called best chicken sandwich.
Yeah, trying to compete with Chick-fil-A and come out with something. We're going to stick with what we know. Chick-fil-A does it best. We got one in Murray 3 or 4 years ago. It's on campus, and so that has been awesome to have. I will go out on a limb and say if you go to Hardees for anything other than breakfast,
something's wrong.
There's
so many different options that you can go to besides
If you are entering that restaurant other than working there from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m.,
you're doing something.
There might be
the only time that I went there was when I did the chicken tender review on my YouTube channel, by the way.
Wait, do you remember what you rated them?
It was bad. It was really bad. The chicken was extremely hot, and it was also not very good. I think they got last place on the chicken tender review. So if you want,
good reason.
Yeah, if you want to check out the chicken tender review, that's also on my channel. But I think the 1 versus 16, Chick-fil-A versus Hardees, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A advances.
So next matchup, we got 9 seeded Cane's versus 8 seeded Steak and Shake. This is a pretty even battle. Steak and Shake, I think, has a little bit better dessert option because, Shake is in their name. I know you're not the biggest dessert guy, so I will offer my expertise there. Cane's, also very good. It's very comparable to Zaxby's, but Cane's, I'm not a big sauce guy. I don't really use sauce, but Cane's sauce is just phenomenal. What's your thoughts on this one right here, Carr?
Yeah, this one's a little bit tougher for me. I've only had Cane's a handful of times. I know that the Cane's Zaxby's debate always comes up, and in my circles, that's always a clear win for Zaxby's. Steak and Shake is something that I've had more often. It's the home of the original 4 for $4. The original 4 meals under $4 originated at Steak and Shake. Wendys has tried their version of it, but Steak and Shake has always been consistent in my life. So I'm going to take Steak and Shake here, Jack.
Yeah, I think Cane's, we talked about one of the criteria is variety. I don't know what else Cane's has besides chicken, really.
It is just chicken.
You know, Steak and Shake has your chicken, your grilled
Burgers.
cheeses, your burgers, all that variety, along with a multitude of shake flavors. So I'm going 8 seed Steak and Shake here. So 5-12 matchup. We got Zaxby's versus KFC. Both chicken places. Both offer a little bit. Zaxby's has wings. KFC has mashed potatoes and biscuits and stuff like that. I'm not the biggest Zaxby's guy.
That hurts.
And Carson is. Carson won free Zaxby's for a year.
Oh, you're telling my Zaxby's story?
Yeah, you can go ahead. But what year was that? Was that?
I was a sophomore in high school,
Okay.
and Cole Emerson was with me at a football game and said, "Hey, you know what tomorrow is?" I was like, "No, what's tomorrow?" He said, "Well, it's Customer Appreciation Day at Zaxby's." And I was like, "Okay, tell me a little bit more about this." He goes, "They're giving out Zaxby's for a year." I said, "Okay, what do I have to do? Like, tell me when and where I need to sign up." He said, "Well, the doors open, at 10:30 tomorrow, but I'm going to go get there at 8 a.m. and stand in line so I can be one of the first 50 people. Only the first 50 people to enter got this free Zaxby's for a year." So you best believe I went and got me some free chicken for a year.
Did Dad hop along with you?
No, what I was able to do was have somebody else in line with me, and I could get that. They gave these card packs, and each card had a meal of the week. So it wasn't like I could go and get one free meal every day, for the year. But it was one meal a week was free. Based on that card that I got. So I got multiple card packs, and Dad got to enjoy one as well. So that's, I think it's pretty clear how I feel about Zaxby's. They've got the best chicken tenders, in my opinion, of any fast food restaurant.
Ooh.
ChickfilA, I like their sandwich, I like their nuggets. Everything about ChickfilA is a great experience. But when I'm talking just a nice chicken tender, a nice breaded chicken tender, I'm giving it to Zaxby's every time. I love their fries. When they are seasoned just right, they are probably the best fries that you can have as well.
That is true. Their fries are phenomenal.
So yeah, I'm going Zaxby's here.
I've had KFC, just not as much as Zaxby's, even though I'm not a big Zaxby's guy. So I'm going to go Zaxby's here because I like their fries a lot. They do have great fries. So we're both going Zaxby's there. All right, 13 versus 4. We got Subway at 13 and 4 at Wendys. The two different types of places.
Very different genres here.
Subway has their sandwiches. They got some pizza. They got some other stuff there. Wendys, typical chicken, burgers. They've got salads there, which me and Carson are never eating. Fun fact for the Chapman men.
Don't think that we're salad guys.
Fun fact for the Chapman men. I don't know if it's still the same for you. In my 20 years of living, I've never ate a salad.
23 years of living, I've never had a salad.
And it will stay that
way.
way.
I don't think that's changing.
It will stay that way. That's just a Chapman boy thing. Wendy's, I do like Wendy's. Subway, I've kind of ventured out. Again, Carson and I, we are very picky eaters. I used to get the little pizzas that they have at Subway.
You get a sandwich now?
I get the pizza sub there, and it's marinara, cheese, and meatballs on there, and it's okay. It's just solid.
Heated or toasted?
But toasted. But Wendy's, we're talking about price of food. The 4 for $4. I lived on the 4 for $4 in high school. I mean, I was going to Wendy's once or twice a week just solely based on the 4 for $4. So because of that nostalgia right there from high school, I'm going Wendy's right here.
I think I have picked a 13-4 upset in the previous two brackets that we've done. And I don't think it's changing here.
Wow, Subway.
I
get Subway.
I think Subway is something that all of you athletes probably had before all your games in high school. It's something that was easy for parents to pick up and bring to you. So I love my cold cut combo at Subway, and I think that's what I'm going with here over Wendy's.
So 3-seeded Culvers versus 14-seed Taco John's. This is not a contest. Only thing Taco John's really, again, picky eaters, we really should not be debating on food. We really shouldn't.
Potato Lay's are pretty great.
That's what I was going to say. Potato Lay's phenomenal. That's right next to the movie theater, and anytime we're really slow, one of us will go grab 100, if it's like a big box of 100 Potato Lay's, we'll all split it between all of us. But Culver's, just phenomenal. I'm not a big burger guy, but I will sometimes get a butter burger at Culver's. And
I thought it was just a chicken tender.
No, I will get a butter burger sometimes, and I enjoy it. Culver's has chicken, burger, great custard. Even Carson sometimes, been not a big sweet guy.
It's been a while.
They took
my nerds away from me.
But, Carson will dabble in some custard. And a good thing about Culvers is when you're doing a fundraiser, you get those custard pancakes, and they are heavenly. If you haven't had them, you need to somehow convince somebody to do a fundraiser at Culvers and do the custard pancakes.
I'm sure Jim would open it up for you at 8 a.m. if you said you've never had some Culver's pancakes.
Oh, they're so good. So, not a contest, Culver's over Taco John's.
Culver's, yeah, I'm gonna hold true here to the bracket. Culver's is probably like I guess one of my favorite cheap meals outside of pizza. If you know anything about us Chapmans, we love eating pizza. But Culver's is something where I get my double cheeseburger, I get my cheese curds, and that marinara sauce with those cheese curds.
I didn't even mention the cheese curds.
Dude, it changes your life. If you have a family over probably 3, you need to know about the family order of cheese curds that you can get.
It's changed the way that Chapman's order at Culver's.
It changes Sunday afternoons for us because you don't have to order 4 separate orders of cheese curds that may cost you $15. This one family order is probably $8 or $9.
It's a steal.
So keep that in mind next time you go to Culver's. Go see the good people there. See Jim and Chris and tell them we sent you.
They're phenomenal. Go ahead and mention. They actually, I don't know if you were going to mention this, but they actually won the best Culver's in the nation last year.
Oh, they're incredible.
So
they win awards all the time.
Yeah, they win awards all the time. But last year, or no, 2 years ago, the conference is in Arizona. And I remember this because John Foster was on the basketball team at the time and had to miss because his family owns it, so he went there. And they actually won the best Culver's in the nation 2 years ago. So our Culver's and Murray, we are spoiled. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, go see Jim and Chris, fellow Packers fans at Culver's.
Next, we got the 6 versus 11 here. We got 6-seeded Cookout versus 11-seed Sonic. I love this matchup.
This is a pretty salty matchup.
Because, Cookout, I feel like, is the obvious answer because you see college kids in Murray and high school kids going to Cookout nonstop. But Sonic's a little bit of a Cinderella team. Sonic's got some good food. They also have cheese curds that are solid. And I love that they got slushy.
Sonic has cheese curds? I thought it was just mozzarella sticks.
They got cheese curds now. They've got the slushies that are phenomenal. They got great ice cream. They got a burger that I actually enjoy a little bit getting sometimes. I'm not the biggest fan of Cookout. I think Cookout is so overrated. That might be a hot take, but for as long as it might just be in Murray, but for as long as you have to wait for that food, it's not worth it.
So, are you taking Sonic?
I'm going to go 11-seed Sonic here.
Okay, he's taking the upset. And I see where you're coming from. I understand it. I think Cookout is something that is consistent. I'm glad it came to Murray. I do enjoy a good Cookout tray. I know my buddy J2, he'll always evaluate money in the sense of, hey, if it's $20, that's 5 Cookout trays. He keeps it like that.
That's funny.
So I think I'm going to stick with Cookout here just for the bang for your buck. If you're going to Sonic, you're going to be spending over $10. You're going to get a good meal at Cookout for anywhere from 6 to 7. So Cookout advances for me.
Cookout also has the good shakes, but again, Sonic's got the slushies and the shakes. So just a little bit more variety in the dessert area, which is something that I know that I'm qualified to talk about is desserts. Next, we got the 7-10. We got 7-seeded Popeyes versus 10-seeded Five Guys. I'm not the biggest burger guy, so Five Guys, I think that's all they have is burgers. So when
you do it right,
yes,
that's all you need.
But I love Popeyes. Biscuits, phenomenal. Chicken, phenomenal. Mashed potatoes,
that's highly debatable.
They're so good. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I could probably, I'm sure my dad can attest to this with him still being on my debit card, like you mentioned.
If you listen to last week, what episode?
Yeah, he can attest to you that there was a run in high school where I was going to Popeyes about once or twice a week when it first came out. I love Popeyes. Easy pick for me. 7-seed Popeyes over Five Guys.
I'm going to take Five Guys here. I'm probably more of a burger eater than I am a chicken eater. Plus, I've already taken Zaxby's, I've already taken ChickfilA, so I want to kind of spread the wealth here between burger restaurants and chicken restaurants. Quick pro tip for you people that have never been to Five Guys: never order anything other than a small fry.
I do remember that.
If you're trying to order a large fry there, you're just wasting money. And I'm stingy when it comes to my food, so
you're also stingy with money.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, paying for a meal. I'm looking for the best bang for my buck. Five Guys, the burger may be a little bit more expensive, but you can save money on those fries because you get the small. They just take the whole thing and pour it, the whole scoop or whatever. They just pour it all into the bag. They fill up the fries really well. So little pro tip for all you people that have never been to Five Guys.
So the last matchup of this Sweet 16, we got a 2-seeded McDonald's versus 15-seed Arbys. McDonald's, just a classic.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
I mean, this really,
not much debate.
Not much debate. We'll talk more about McDonald's later. I don't really know what. I mean, Arby's specializes. I know they're
Arby's got the sliders.
They got the sliders and their curly fries. Curly fries. My girlfriend Melanie wanted to make sure that I talked about the curly fries.
Shout out Mom and the roast beef sandwich.
Yes,
I think it's the roast beef.
Okay, so when Arby's, so we have an Arby's now, but we used to have an older Arby's where Hardees is.
No, where Cookout used
where
to be.
Cookout.
No, that's where KFC was.
That's where
KFC
it's
was.
where
Hardees
Hardees used to be.
Yep.
And I remember vividly the amount of times that Mom would go through the drive-thru at the old Arbys, and she would be their only customer that day. They would tell her in the drive-thru.
Well, it was after she took us to McDonald's.
Exactly.
And
Yeah. She would be the only customer of that day at Arbys, and so that shows you that Arbys just doesn't have much to offer. I'm sure that some people are like, "Oh my gosh, Arby's is so underrated."
I will say, just because this is the matchup here, Arby's versus McDonald's. Quick story. Me and Jonah Brandon are in Louisville. We had just gotten in. Jackson, I don't even know if you know this yet, but it was around midnight, and we got checked into our hotel because we were coaching travel baseball. We sat in McDonald's and had ordered on our app. We're going to go through the drive-thru to pick it up. Legit 30 minutes in McDonald's drive-thru. Jonah calls the store to say, "Hey, is anybody even in there? Is anybody even working?" Because the drive-thru line did not move at all. And they were like, "Yeah, you're just going to have to wait in line like everybody else." Well, Jonah wasn't having that. We cancel our order on McDonald's. We go to Arbys across the street. And I tell you, I have never been so happy to have mozzarella sticks in my life. We were the only ones that pulled up there. Arbys even took a while, but we were glad to have it. And come to find out, the guy that was waiting on us at Arbys had just gotten fired from McDonald's a couple weeks ago. So he had literally gone across the street to a place at Arbys that was now open, and he was probably the reason that McDonald's was so backed up that night and unable to finish us off.
Wow.
But McDonald's advances for me here because the one in Murray holds a special place in my heart.
It's solid. All right, so we got our Elite Eight. First matchup, ChickfilA versus Steak and Shake. This is a great matchup, 1-8 matchup. ChickfilA really just specializes in chicken, but when your chicken's that good, that's all you really need to specialize in.
Yeah, in the words of Remember the Titans, we've got 6 plays. You run them right, we run them all night. That's all you need. Because when you do something so well, you execute at a high level like Chick-fil-A does, you're going to advance. And they take down Steak and Shake here for me. Closed on Sunday.
Yeah, that's their downfall.
They do it all. They do it all in 6 days of work because they give Sunday the Lord's Day.
That's the Lord's Day. Another thing that Chick-fil-A has to offer, they have breakfast. Some of these places don't have breakfast.
That's a great point. We have to consider this.
Yeah, we have to consider. That's
if you're able to give me 3 meals in a day, that's special.
Exactly.
I have been on countless trips where my dad will get breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Chick-fil-A.
And you can't really blame them because it's just that good. So yeah, that's the variety aspect coming into play. Steak and Shake doesn't have breakfast. At least I don't think Steak and Shake has breakfast.
Not that I'm aware of.
But Chick-fil-A does. So Chick-fil-A advances to the Final Four. So we got 5-seeded Zaxby's, and mine is a 4-5 matchup. Yours is 5-13. So I'll go first with Zaxby's versus Wendys. I'm not going to talk much about this because I'm not the biggest Zaxby's fan. I'm going Wendys because the 4-4 has breakfast now. The honey chicken biscuit, phenomenal. Chef's kiss. And I just not the biggest fan of Zaxby's, and I'm going to show that I'm not by choosing Wendys here.
So I've got Zaxby's going head-to-head against Subway here. I'm obviously not the biggest Wendys fan because I picked them to get upset here in the first round. I've always said from day one, if I have McDonald's and Wendys to choose from on an exit, I'm choosing McDonald's 101 times out of 100. So Zaxby's here going up against Subway. You know how I feel about Zaxby's already. I camped out for them. I got there for Customer Appreciation Day. They gave me a year's worth of free Zaxby's. Zaxby's advances to take on Chick-fil-A in the Final Four.
So here's the matchup for me. We got Culvers 3-seed. Mine's the 11-seed Sonic, and yours is the 6-seed Cookout. Culvers versus Sonic. If there's a place that I've went to the most since I've gotten my car, it's Culvers.
Yep.
So I'm going Culvers here.
Culvers is a household favorite at our place. We can always agree that they have something for all of us to enjoy. Culvers against Cookout here. Cookout has the the hours variety, I guess you could say, because they're open later. Their drive-through is always popping. But Culvers, the consistency, how they make every meal fresh to order and do it with such efficiency, Culvers takes them down.
Yeah, the only gripe you have at Culvers is if you're in the drive-through, 100 times out of 100, they're going to ask you.
They're going to ask you to pull over.
Take the number and pull over because it's making fresh food.
Because it's making you fresh, but also when you think about from the time you order to the time you get your food, it's probably not any longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's really not that bad. So again,
the efficiency of that restaurant, I can't talk enough about it.
So we both got the same. No. You're Five Guys versus McDonald's. I'm Popeyes versus McDonald's.
We wanted variety here. We wanted to give you all a show today.
This is a tough one for me. McDonald's, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can go there. McDonald's has so much variety there. There's sodas. I know you're not the biggest soda guy. I'm not really either, but McDonald's Sprite. There's been countless memes made over how phenomenal, that McDonald's Sprite is and how it feels like you're drinking electricity, but it's a sweet tasting electricity. But Popeyes, the biscuits, honestly, one of my favorite things that out of all the restaurant's menu options, Popeyes biscuits have got to be up there. And their chicken's great too.
Are you pulling them here?
I'm really torn here because I love McDonald's, and I think I still gotta go Popeyes though. I just go there I go there so often, and it's so consistent every time. The wait's not that bad because I'm really the only one there.
There's a reason he's the only one.
Yeah,
there.
And I don't know. It's probably unpopular, but I'm going Popeyes here.
McDonald's, I will say that when you started placing those deals on your app, that was the worst thing that could have happened to my bank account. I moved to Murray probably 2 or 3 years ago after living at my parents' house, and so living in town has given me a lot of access to the McDonald's drive-thru and a lot of access to redeem those McDonald's points. I'm able to get discounts like crazy. I never pay full price for a meal, and for that, McDonald's advances to the Final Four. So
my Final Four is ChickfilA versus Wendys, and then Culvers versus Popeyes. And what's your Final Four?
So I've got ChickfilA versus Zaxby's in the top half of the bracket, and in the bottom half I have Culver's taking on McDonald's.
So ChickfilA versus Wendys. I've talked about how 4 for 4 kind of saved my bank account in high school. But when I was in high school, we didn't really have a Chick-fil-A. But now that I'm in college and we have Chick-fil-A,
it's a game changer.
It's a game changer. And Chick-fil-A just gets it done consistently. The only problem that I have with the Murray one, and this isn't the case for all Chick-fil-A's, it's just 1,000 college students, not 1,000.
Oh, it takes forever.
It takes forever. And that's not the case for all Chick-fil-A's, for as busy as some Chick-fil-A's get, they can get your order out on time.
And I'm sure it's their pleasure.
And it's always their pleasure. And Wendy's, sometimes I'm a guy that gets stuff plain a lot. Sometimes they mess up. So that's their only critique, and that's enough to have Chick-fil-A go to the finals for me.
So I got Chick-fil-A taking on Zaxby's here.
What a matchup.
For those of you that knew me in high school, before Murray had a Chick-fil-A, I would have said Zaxby's. Jackson can attest to that. I was Zaxby's maybe 3 or 4 times a week. Now that we have a Chick-fil-A, and it's not something that I have to drive to in Paducah or get when we're out of town, gosh, it's just so good. It reminds me every time of why Chick-fil-A is the standard for chicken, and their chicken sandwich is unmatched. I've even grown to love their fries. I always used to get the sandwich and the 8-count nugget, but now I get their fries more too. Chick-fil-A, even though I visit it less frequently, I don't know what it is about being on campus. Like, I don't want to go there for lunch if I'm out at my job or anything like that. I might be more prone to go to Zaxby's.
But when we're out of town, we're going to Chick-fil-A.
It's happening. It's happening for breakfast and for lunch. So Chick-fil-A is heading to the championship.
Now, this is one that I'm extremely torn. We've got 3-seeded Culvers versus 7-seed Popeyes. And you Murray people will know.
This is no surprise here, because if you looked at Jackson's transactions on his bank account,
Culvers, Popeyes, Popeyes.
It rotates days.
And here's the thing, Murray people, you'll know. Culver's and Popeyes are right next to each other. There's that light there. And I have an internal
You have a decision to make.
I have the internal struggle every time I get to the light. Am I turning left to go to Popeyes, or am I turning right to go to Culver's? And more times out of 10, I'm picking Culver's. So I'm going to stick with that decision. Popeyes, I love you. You got so far for me, but I got to go Culver's. Just quality of food, just so phenomenal. The price is a little up there, but when you're getting that great of food, plus Culver's has the ice cream option that Popeyes doesn't, and I love their ice cream, so I'm going Culver's there.
Yeah, so I've got Culver's taking on McDonald's. Here, I run into kind of the same issue that I had with Chick-fil-A and Zaxby's. I would say I visit McDonald's more frequently just because it's more readily available, it's cheaper, so I'm always looking to save $1. But Culver's, when it comes down to it, that is my go-to burger. That's my go-to side with the cheese curds. And like I said, the overall experience, anytime I go in there, I can't go into Culver's and not see somebody that I know.
Exactly.
So it's just a great community in there. Culver's is heading to the finals to take on Chick-fil-A.
So we both have this matchup.
I think I have an idea of where Jackson's going.
Juggernauts. Now, both these places, Chick-fil-A is just chicken, but like I mentioned before, their chicken's that good that they don't really need the variety. They have the breakfast that Culver's doesn't have, but Culver's has the burgers, and they both have ice cream. Both their ice cream's phenomenal. Both are a little pricey, and that's the criteria that we're going for. But when it comes to Murray, specifically, a thing that I look for in convenience is a drive-thru. And
This is huge.
And our Chick-fil-A does not have a drive-thru.
It doesn't.
So more times, I'm picking Culver's because I don't feel like getting out of my car to go get my food. And I don't feel like sitting and standing waiting for my food at Chick-fil-A. So, a monumental upset here. I'm going Culver's over Chick-fil-A. Solely based on the fact that our Culver's in Murray has a drive-thru.
Wow, that's so awesome.
Bold.
And I'm glad you brought that in because I wasn't even thinking that way. So I've got the same matchup, Chick-fil-A versus Culver's here. And I've talked about my love for Chick-fil-A. I've talked about what I appreciate about Culver's. But when it comes down to it, Jack, when I visit a restaurant, when I'm walking into a business, I want to feel like I'm known. I want to feel like I'm a priority to them. And nobody does that better than Culver's.
That's true.
Culver's, Jim Foster came and spoke to us one time and said that there are 5 different interactions that they try to seek to have with every customer. They try to have an interaction with you when you come in the door. They want to have an interaction with you when you're having your meal. They have an interaction with you when they bring your food. The 4th interaction is when they come to check on you to see if you need anything, check on your food. And then the 5th interaction is when you leave, they are going to say bye to you. They're going to say have a great day.
Doesn't get much better.
It's everything I've ever wanted in a restaurant experience, and because of the close friend connection that we have with them, they get my vote. Culver's is my champion in the fast food restaurant bracket.
For the first time, me and Carson have agreed.
We have a
agreed
upon champion.
Because the Cardinals bracket, I went with Cardinals. I went with the David Freese home run.
Yeah, you had to be different.
But this is the first time that we've agreed on the Turdy Time. I think this is my favorite Turdy Time. I love talking about food. This has been a great one. Thank you guys for listening to episode 3 of the Man2Man podcast. You guys have been so supportive. We've been getting a lot of text. The reviews are great, and I'm so appreciative of that. So thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.